Good evening, everybody, and welcome inside Pheno Field here in Milford, as Milford TV is happy to bring you coverage of Milford Legion baseball. This is Tim Coet on the call as we start a new week with some more Milford Post 59 action for you. And tonight, Post 59 is back here at home at Pheno Field to take on one of their rivals from District 4 in Northborough Post 234. A little bit of a different look to District 4 here in the last couple of seasons as they've broke it off into two divisions. And so both of these teams operate out of opposite divisions, Northborough representing Division A, Milford representing Division B, and both of these teams lead their respective divisions. Northborough comes in with a record of 7-2, topping Division A. Milford with a record of 9-1. They lead Division B. And Post 59 out on the field, getting set to get this week started. It has been such a tremendous beginning to the season for Post 59, and they look to keep it going here tonight. Quickly before this one gets started, let's get to the starting lineups for these two teams, and we will begin with the visitors. That is Northborough Post 234. Leading it off is the shortstop, Joe Russell. The center fielder, Michael Morrissey, bats second, with the third baseman, Zach Meal, batting third. Emilio Manz is the catcher, batting cleanup, with Nolan Whelan, the first baseman, batting fifth. The left fielder, Nick Bellofato, bats sixth, with Andrew D'Angelo, the second baseman, batting seventh. Joe Hayes hits eighth and plays right field, and in the ninth spot is the starting pitcher, Ryan Holman. Post 234 is under the direction of head coach Ken McDonald. And meanwhile, it is Joe Russell about to stand in against tonight's starting pitcher for Post 59, Scott Paliuka. Scott in his second year with Post 59. And the right-hander about to deal in the first pitch of this game. And he sends it in high for ball one. This is just the second appearance on the pitcher's mound for Paliuka this season, his first start. He pitched an inning of relief. Actually, the last time we were able to cover this team in action, that was against Tri-Town a little over a week ago. Pitched a scoreless inning of relief, just faced three batters through 12 pitches. Tallied a strikeout and a clean inning of work, and now getting the start here tonight. So we'll see how deep Scott goes in this one. Milford's pitching staff overall has shown great depth so far on the season. Here's a 2-0 pitch from the righty, and this is lined over to the shortstop, and waiting there to haul it in is Sean McGee for out number one. Defensively, the Milford Post 59 team looks like this. Jack Krause is behind the plate, Sean Burchard at third, Sean McGee at shortstop, TJ Kiley at second base, and Evan Cornelius at first. Left to right in the outfield is Jacob Smith, Nick Koch, and Eli Sylvia, who's flexed out of tonight's starting lineup, only playing defensively out in right field. Meanwhile, the first pitch misses the zone to the number 2 hitter, Michael Morrissey. And now a close one misses off the inside part of the plate to bring the count to 2-0. Overcast skies here at Pheno Field as we get this one started, but no rain, and we're hoping that it's going to stay that way. As this pitch is popped up in foul ground behind the plate, Krause going as far as he can, but that is over the chain link and a foul ball. Very tropical weather here in the Northeast for the last couple of weeks. Very humid with a risk of showers and thunderstorms just about every day, and that pattern is going to continue through much of this next week. So we'll see how that continues to impact these Legion games. Looks like we'll get this one in under dry conditions. 2-1 pitch drops in the dirt, and the count goes to 3-1 now to Morrissey. A good start to the year for both of these clubs. As now this pitch is sent into foul territory right over by the Milford dugout, and Evan Cornelius goes as far as he can, but that drifts off into the crowd, and the count now runs full. Northborough in a good groove. They have won their last 4 straight, coming off of a 14-5 victory against Sturbridge. As that pitch is in for a called strike 3, so Paliuka wins the battle. Two outs now in the inning. And that brings up Zach Meal. Takes the first pitch for ball 1. Northborough in the red uniform tops, white uniform pants. Milford tonight sporting the retro navy uniform tops. Off-speed pitch has Meal fooled. And the count evens at a ball and a strike. So Northborough coming into the game with some momentum. Milford, meanwhile, coming off of their very first loss of the season after rattling off 9 straight victories out of the gates. That pitch in for a strike. It was just strike 2. Krause supplying the tag to the chest of Zach Meal, but a 1-ball, 2-strike count now on the Northborough third baseman as Scott Paliuka has eyes on a 1-2-3 first. Here comes the pitch. And that's in at the knees for a called strike 3. That pitch appeared to be a bit low, but gets the benefit of the call. It's the first strikeout. I beg your pardon, the second strikeout for Paliuka in what was a clean top of the first inning. So that is all in the first. Post 59 will take their first swings of the game when we come back next. Stay with us here on Milford TV.
That brings up number 3, the shortstop, Sean McGee.
Starting off this bottom of the first inning with a slight delay. Apologies for the technical difficulties. One batter deep now into this bottom of the first inning with Nick Koch retired to open up this inning. He'll be followed by Sean McGee and then Keith Lee. We'll get you the full complement of the Milford starting lineup as this bottom half of the first inning goes along. A scoreless game here between Milford and Northborough. And on the mound for Post 234 is the right-hander Ryan Holman, now facing Sean McGee with the bases empty and one down, about to throw a 2-0 pitch. And that is at the knees for a strike. Nick Koch, Sean McGee, and Keith Lee, the first three batters in this Post 59 lineup. Two balls and two strikes now the count. Sean McGee, a Milford product. Lets that pitch go to stay alive. Count now runs full. Sean McGee coming into the game today with a .375 batting average, 9 hits in 24 at-bats, and he will take a walk here to place a Milford runner aboard with one out in the inning. It's the 6th walk already of the season for McGee. And that will bring up Keith Lee, once again operating as the team's designated hitter. Big rip for Lee at that first pitch he sees from Holman, but he does not make contact. Milford coming off of a weekend where they faced some non-Zone 4 competition at that tournament up at Holy Cross. Ended up being, I believe, a rain-shortened tournament. All the games on Saturday were postponed due to the inclement weather. As Keith Lee now is up there with a count of 1 ball and 2 strikes. Victory over Beverly on the first day of the tournament before ultimately falling to Concord, New Hampshire, in what was their first loss of the season, as now Lee smokes one through the left side of the infield for a base hit. He a turnaround second base, but holds on there, and Milford now has 2 aboard with 1 down in the inning. So let's quickly sneak in that full Milford starting lineup. You've already seen Nick Koch, the center fielder, Sean McGee, the shortstop, and Keith Lee, the DH. Now the cleanup hitter and first baseman Evan Cornelius, followed by today's starting pitcher Scott Paliuka. Jacob Smith bats 6th and plays left field with the catcher Jack Krause batting 7th. TJ Kiley is your second baseman batting 8th, and Sean Burchard is in the 9th spot playing 3rd base. Cornelius up on the right side. He recently delivered Milford their first home run of the season. This is the first action here at Pheno for Post 59 since last Monday in a victory against Hudson. It's a 2-ball, 1-strike count now on Cornelius. Runners leading away from first and second as the pitch hits on the outside corner for strike 2. And now the pitch misses low, and it'll be a full count for Evan with Paliuka waiting on deck. Down to second, now the payoff pitch, and it's carved to the opposite field, and that will hold up for Joe Hayes to make the catch. A little too much hang time allowed the Northborough right fielder to settle underneath and make a play.
Now to plate number 4, the pitcher, Scott Paliuka.
Runners hold with now 2 outs, and Scott Paliuka coming up to the plate. Lights just starting to come on here at Pheno. Experiencing the longest days of the year. These last couple of days, the sunset time right around 8:27. Slowly start to get shorter from here. enjoy all the daylight we can, albeit with some clouds overhead, but fortunate that it's pretty comfortable, all things considered, here at the field. Temperatures were up around 80 degrees today with high humidity, but a breeze making things feel more comfortable here at the field level. Pitch into Paliuca is sent in the air towards the left field line. Over goes Belafato. He leaves his feet, and he is able to make the catch. The hat went flying off, but the ball stayed in Belafato's glove, and he is able to hang on for out number 3. Milford strands a pair of runners in the scoreless first inning. We've played one full now here at Pheno Field, and it is 0-0 between Post 59 and Northborough Post 234 here on Milford TV. Ball, 1 strike count. Milford with a run scoring opportunity there in the first inning. A nice play in left field. Left Milford with runners on base as Mansier sends the ball down the third base line. Nice sure-handed play by Sean Burchard. Gets it over to first base in time to retire Mans for the first out here in the top of the second inning. That out goes 5-3. That brings up the first baseman, Nolan Whelan. First pitch strike poured in from Paliuca. One pitch from Paliuca is down in the dirt. Mentioned it's 7 victories on the season so far for Northborough. We'll dig a little deeper into some of those games as Strike 2 is delivered. A lot of high scores for Post 234. They scored 14 runs in that most recent victory against Sturbridge. It's the second time they tallied 14 runs in a game on the season. As this ball is a two-hopper to shortstop, McGee slings it over to first base in time to get the out. A couple of ground balls to the left side, handled cleanly by the Milford infield, and there are 2 away.
Coming to the plate, number 14, the left fielder,
And that will bring up Nick Bellafato, who made that nice diving catch towards the line out in left field to bring an end to the bottom of the first inning. He is out in front of a pitch from Paliuka for strike 1. Left-handed batter against the right-handed Paliuka. And down in the count quickly now, 0-2. "22 pitches, make it 23 pitches so far in the game for Paliuka. And now this one is hit hard and foul wide of first base, and fortunately too low to clear that short chain link fence past the first base dugout, keeping the fans down there protected. Lighter crowd for the early part of this game. Here's another 0-2 pitch. Offering at a high one is Bellafato, and he dumps it out into shallow left center field for a base hit. That pitch was up and out of the strike zone, but Bellafato able to handle it and gets aboard with the first Northborough hit of the game. It extends this second inning. It's a chance for the number 7 hitter Andrew D'Angelo to bat in the frame. He swings at the first pitch, hits it softly to third base. Richard has it and sends it over to first base for the out that retires the side. So the 2-out hit proves to be harmless. And we're done with an inning and a half now here at Pheno Field, still scoreless in the Zone 4 matchup between Milford and Northborough right here on Milford TV.
Number 16, left fielder Jacob Smith.
Ryan Holman delivers ball 1 to get the top half, beg your pardon, the bottom half of the second inning started here at Pheno Field. It's been a fast-moving start to the Zone 4 matchup as this ball is hit on the ground to the left side off the bat of Jacob Smith. Third baseman Zach Meal takes care of business, and Smith is retired for out number 1. Let's give you the defensive alignment for Northboro Post 234. Behind the plate is Emilio Mann. Zach Meal, who just made that play, stands at third. Joe Russell at short. Andrew D'Angelo at second. And Nolan Whelan at first. Left to right in the outfield, Nick Bellafato, Michael Morrissey, and Joe Hayes. All behind starting pitcher Ryan Holman. Now pitching to the Milford catcher Jack Krause with a count of 1 ball and 1 strike. And now this pitch popped up behind first base down the right field line in foul territory. No one's going to get there. And it lands harmlessly for strike 2.
Good, Ryan. Go to work with 2. Come on, Jack.
1 ball, 2 strikes on Krause. Comes into today batting .312. Watches that pitch miss outside, and the count evens now at 2 balls and 2 strikes. 5 hits in 16 at bats so far on the season. 5 runs batted in for Krause. Scored 6. It's been productive. Krause just finishing up his junior year at Blackstone Valley Tech. He's caught both games we've had a chance to cover here on Milford TV so far this season, battling into a deep count against Holman. Here's a 3-2 pitch, and it misses for ball 4, skips away from the catcher. Krause will jog down to first base, but he won't look to advance from there. It's the second walk surrendered by the Northborough starter.
Now batting number 8, second baseman T.J. Kiley.
1 out base runner now ahead of T.J. Kiley. Our first chance to see Kiley in the lineup so far on the season. A recent graduate of Holliston High School. As Krause immediately takes off for second base, a very late throw from Mans. No chance to get Krause. It's a stolen base for the catcher. The pitch was a ball, so the count goes to 1-0 on Kiley. Takes a strike. This is the 6th game that Kiley has appeared in on the season. It's just his 13th at bat. He has 6 hits through his first 12 at bats, so batting .500 on the season. That average will take a dip as he pops this ball up behind the infield dirt where the shortstop Joe Russell makes the catch. And so Kiley is retired, and that brings it up to Sean Burchard batting out of the number 9 spot. Another batting average over the 300 mark. Milford as a team so far on the season batting .340. It's been a torrid offensive start to the season for Post 59. 88 hits as a team and 259 at-bats through the first 10 games of the season. It's been outstanding. A quick 0-2 count here on Burchard. Now fights off this pitch foul to stay alive. It takes a bounce over the chain link and off the field. So an 0-2 count, 2 outs, and a Milford runner aboard at second base. Here's the pitch, and this one is lined foul to the backstop as Burchard tries to zero in on the timing against Holman. Holman looking to strand another runner in scoring position. That said, this ball fought out towards shortstop, but playable for Russell, who makes the catch for the out. That retires the side, so Milford has stranded 3 runners aboard through the first 2 innings. And we will head right on to the third here at Pheno Field. Still no score between Good pitching on display for both of these teams through the early innings. Scott Paliuka back out there for Milford. He's allowed just one hit through the first two. He'll face batters 8, 9, and 1 in the Northborough lineup. Joe Hayes, Ryan Holman, and then back around to Joe Russell. First pitch sent foul and out of play off the bat of the right fielder, Joe Hayes. Another left-handed bat in this Northborough lineup takes the pitch low as the count evens at a ball and a strike. Now a wave and a miss brings the count to 1-2. A lot of activity around the zone tonight. A lot of games happening early. Maine South at Sturbridge tipped off at 5:30, as did the first game of a doubleheader between North County and Shrewsbury. Meanwhile, this ball dribbled down the first base line, took a tricky hop there at the end on Cornelius, but he was able to stab it with the bare hand and then get the foot down on the bag for the unassisted out. So the leadoff batter retired.
All right, help yourself out.
And now here is Holman. Northborough starting pitcher takes a ball low. Hudson at Leominster also got underway around 5:30, so I'm sure a lot of those games just about concluded by now. And North County and Shrewsbury playing a second game of a doubleheader a little bit later tonight. Expected first pitch around 7:30. As this ball is fought off down the third base line, going to be a tough play for Burchard. Gets it out of the glove, but the throw to first base is not going to be in time. Holman beats it out for an infield single. Holman ran hard down the line, knew he had a chance at a hit. It's rewarded with a one-out single. It turns the lineup over. Brings up Joe Russell. Russell lined out to the shortstop his first time up here, sends a foul ball off the catcher for strike one.
Let's go, Joe. Hey, Joe, let's go, one. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Go, water. Need here. Go, Joe, Sad. He won. Joey. Come on, Ross, let's go. Hey, good hitter, Joe, right?
Now a quick mound visit for Jack Krause on the 0-1 count to Russell. As we mentioned, Krause, a BVT student, Paliuka, a returning college student from Endicott College after graduating from Hopkinton High School last year. So these two making sure they're on the same page. Here's an 0-1, and it's a line drive. That's going to drop in for a base hit over the head of the shortstop, McGee. Back-to-back hits now for Northborough as they start to get something brewing here in the third inning. 2 on with only 1 out for the number 2 hitter, Michael Morrissey.
Now batting number 10, center fielder Michael Morrissey.
3 hits now for post 234. Morrissey, a half swing, rolls that ball over towards the first base dugout for strike one. Runners leading away from first and second base as Paliuka comes to the set. 0-1 pitch. That's in for a strike. This Northborough team was right on the doorstep of the zone playoffs a season ago. They were just on the outside looking in. This ball was hit on the ground to shortstop. McGee fires to second base out there. The relay on to first is offline as Kylie had to rush the throw, had the runner bearing down, a little bit too slow developing there for the inning-ending double play. Instead, Milford settles for the forced play at second. Morrissey safe at first on the fielder's choice. And so it is runners at the corners now for post 59 with 2 outs. I beg your pardon, for post 234 with 2 outs in the inning. And the number 3 hitter, Zach Meal, at the plate. 0 for 1 with a strikeout. Takes the first pitch at the bottom of the zone for strike 1. Runner taking off from first base as Meal fouls that pitch off the backstop to bring the count to 0-2. On deck hitter Emilio Mance will track down that loose ball. So a chance for Paliuca to shut things down here. He's ahead of Meal, 0-2. And the pitch on the outside corner for strike 3 has Meal frozen. He's caught looking for the second at bat tonight, and that strands 2 runners aboard. Northborough able to get a runner to third base, but cannot bring him in. It's still scoreless. Moving on to the home half of the 3rd inning next here on Milford TV. Kicking off the bottom half of the 3rd inning with Eli Sylvia at the plate. He sends one out to center field, but a knee slide for Michael Morrissey robs Sylvia of a hit. So, interesting turn of events there, as we assumed that Eli Sylvia was flexed out of the lineup, but seems like once again here on a Monday, Milford operating with a 10-man lineup. We'll have to take a second look through the Northborough lineup and make sure we didn't miss a 10th man there as well. As this ball is now hit on a bounce over to first base off the bat of Nick Koch. And Whalen able to take it to the bag unassisted for out number 2.
Now the plate, number 3, the shortstop.
Two very
Sean
fast
McGee.
outs here in the bottom of the third inning, and that leaves the frame up to Sean McGee, one of just 3 Milford batters to reach base so far against Ryan Holman. He walked in the first inning. Taking a pitch high. Now that one missing a little bit up and in to McGee. A quick 3-ball, no strike count on McGee. Looking to extend this home half of the third. Give Keith Lee a chance to bat. And so McGee ends up walking on 4 pitches. Patient approach once again, walks for the second time.
Now batting number 20, the designated hitter, Keith Lee.
It's a 1-2-3 inning for Holman, and now he does have to face Keith Lee, who singled back in the first inning. The only Milford hit so far, so all of the offense we talked about so far on the season, but it's been a quiet night at the plate so far in this one. First pitch strike poured in by Holman. Runner takes off for second base. The pitch misses. The throw down is not going to be in time. And it's a steal for McGee, the second stolen base of the game for Post 59. And a run in scoring position. 1-1 pitch now for Lee is down low for ball 2. Coming into this game, Keith Lee with 6 hits in 12 at-bats. So he's made the most of a little bit of a lighter workload. He also has walked 14 times on the season, so not really a lighter workload, just an incredible patience at the plate. 14 walks, that by far and away leads the team. No other hitter in the Milford lineup has reached double digits, but no walk this time for Lee. Instead, he sends it back up the middle for a hit. Here comes McGee around from third base. The throw in is going to be cut off on the middle of the infield. Throw down to second base is not in time, so it is an RBI single for Keith Lee. He takes second base on the throw, and Milford finally breaks the deadlock. They take a 1-0 lead.
13, first baseman, Evan Cornelius.
So the hot hitting continues for Lee. Comes through with a 2-out RBI base hit to give Milford their first lead of the night. Now stands at second base, giving Evan Cornelius a chance to come to the plate in the inning. Takes an off-speed pitch inside for ball 1. That's the 9th RBI of the season for Keith Lee, and now a sharply hit ball past the glove of the first baseman out into right field. Lee will round third base. He will score without a throw. Back-to-back RBI hits here for Post 59, this one from Cornelius. And it's now a 2-0 lead for Post 59. And what looked like it was going to be a quick and quiet inning for Milford. It all started on the 4-pitch walk for Sean McGee, and now 2 hard hit balls from the 3 and 4 hitters. And Milford has themselves a 2-0 lead. Cornelius now the lone runner at first base with Scott Paliuka at the plate. He knows he'll have a lead to work with now when he comes back out to the pitcher's mound. This ball hit through the vacated hole on the left side. Milford executes the hit and run perfectly. Cornelius was off on the pitch. That drew the shortstop in tight towards the second base bag. And Paliuka able to deliver that ball right through the gaping hole on the left side of the infield. Perfect fundamentals for Post 59. So runners at first and second now for Post 59. 3 straight hits, 4 straight batters have reached now against Holman, who was so locked in through the first 2 2/3. Meanwhile, Coach McDonald out for a brief conference with the starting pitcher. And now getting set to deal with the left fielder Jacob Smith. And that pitch drops into the dirt, skips away from the catcher, and both runners will advance. A wild pitch. And now Milford with 2 in scoring position, looking to extend a 2-0 lead. A 1-ball, no strike count on Jacob Smith. He grounded out to third base in his first at bat tonight. Now takes the pitch down at the bottom of the strike zone to bring the count to 1-1. Now a softly hit ball towards second, scooped up there by D'Angelo. He will send it over to first base in time to get the out that will conclude things here in the bottom of the third inning, but not before Milford brings home the first 2 runs of the game. They now lead Northborough by a score of 2-0. We'll start the 4th inning next here on Milford TV.
Now pitching for Milford, number 1, Andrew Dennison. And leading off, number 34, Emilio Mann.
New pitcher on for Post 59 as we get set to begin the top of the 4th. 3 shutout innings for Scott Paliuka. He now gives way to Andrew Dennison, second-year Post 59 player. Northborough a look with the sidearm delivery here in the top of the 4th. So it is indeed Emilio Mann starting off this inning. So a little bit of a strange alignment here for these 2 teams, with Milford playing with a 10-man lineup, Northborough with a 9-man lineup. This game is officially listed in the schedule as a non-division game. So seeing a little bit more of the loose rules like we saw in our last coverage against Tri-Town. Not quite to the same degree. Right now, the only change that we've seen in the field through these first now 3+ innings is the second pitcher utilized for Milford here, Denizen, who misses inside with a pitch for ball 4 to the catcher, Emilio Mans. And so Northborough will have their leadoff man aboard.
The first baseman, Nolan Wheelan.
It looks like more activity is about to loosen in the Milford bullpen. A couple of arms look to be headed out that way. Colin Burchard heading out there, along with a bullpen catcher. Meanwhile, it's a no-ball, 1-strike count into Nolan Wheelan. Tall first baseman takes that pitch low, and the count goes to 1-1. So through 3 innings, Scott Paliuka did not allow a run, scattered 3 hits, did not walk a batter, and struck out 3. Pitched himself out of a little bit of trouble in that 3rd inning, striking out Zach Meal to leave runners at the corners. Strong performance. Here comes a 2-1 pitch. That is in for strike 2. Short lead at first base for Mans. Held on by Cornelius. And now too much time taken by Denizen. Batter granted time.
Left center's wide open. Sit back and drive. Go, Niner. Come on, Owen.
A shade. Wheeling to pull in the outfield. As that pitch, this is just off the outside part of the plate. Kraus held it there for an extra moment, but did not get the call. So now a full count. Runner does not go at first base as the pitch is fouled to the backstop. Stays a full count.
Come on, base it, ball 4, Nolan. Need you on. Let's go. Come on, Niner. Let's go, Nolan. Be safe.
Another payoff pitch and a high hop over towards the first baseman, Cornelius. He plays it into the body and steps on the first base bag to get the shore out there. Emilio Mans able to move down to second base.
Coming to the plate, number 14, the left fielder, Nick.
He stands there with 1 out in the inning, and now Nick Bellafato at the plate. Nick has one of 3 Northborough hits so far in the game. Sends this first pitch in the air out to shallow center field. Nick Koch underneath it makes the catch. Northborough runner has to hold up at second base now with 2 outs in the inning. 2 down now for Andrew D'Angelo. He takes the first pitch on the outside part of the plate for strike 1. Good framework from Jack Kraus. Quickly now, Dennison finds himself ahead. No balls and 2 strikes. We saw Andrew in the lineup quite a bit last season, playing center field. Now a chance to finish off this inning on the mound. Here's his 0-2 pitch, and it's sent in the air down the left field line, and that is a foul ball that Looked like it could be trouble, but fortunately for Milford, twisted off into foul ground. Stays an 0-2 count.
Hard line drive somewhere, Andrew.
Long look in from Denizen. Ready with another pitch. That one too far outside. No chase from D'Angelo. Andrew in his first at bat grounded out to third base. Now a 1-2 pitch, and this is sent out to center field, but Nick Koch positioned well. He is out there to make the catch for the out that ends the inning. And another runner is stranded in scoring position for Northborough. They continue to threaten, but they have not been able to come through so far against this Milford pitching staff. On to the bottom of the fourth. Milford 2, Northborough nothing here on Milford TV.
With Milford leading by a score of 2-0 in the bottom of the fourth inning. Leading off, number 2, the catcher, Jack Krause.
2 runs, 4 hits, no errors for Milford. No runs, 3 hits, no errors for Northborough. And a new pitcher on for post 234 as we begin the bottom half of the fourth inning. It is Andrew D'Angelo, who started the game at third base. He takes over, facing the bottom third of the Milford lineup. Goes as a straight swap of positions as Ryan Holman, tonight's starting pitcher, moves over to third base. While Jack Krause now sends a slow roller towards second base, charging in on it. D'Angelo, I beg your pardon.
That brings up number 8,
Second baseman able to make the play. So my apologies. Andrew D'Angelo started the game at second base, taking over on the mound. So it is Holman now at third base.
Yeah, Joey. Go, 2 down.
And it appears to be Meal now at second base. So getting our defensive alignment right, as meanwhile TJ Kiley lines one softly to the shortstop.
Go make a play, and the inning.
So just to go over that infield alignment quickly one more time, we'll see if we can get there. Meanwhile, Sean Burchard, he swings at the first pitch and sends it foul down the third base line. So
All over the plate, all over.
it is Ryan Holman, excuse me, now at third base. Russell still at short. Zach Meal takes over at second base. And Nolan Whelan still at first, and now Andrew D'Angelo pitching, with Emilio Mann still behind the plate. So that gets us up to speed on our Northborough infield here, with 2 outs and the bases empty in the bottom of the fourth, and a 1-ball, 1-strike count on the number 9 hitter, Sean Burchard. Two balls and 1 strike now as that ball skipped to the backstop. Next pitch now from D'Angelo. That is low. It's a 2-out walk that sparked a 2-run rally for Milford last inning. Burchard now ahead in the count, 3 balls and a strike. Pitch from the righty. And that's on the outside corner for a strike. Burchard taking all the way. And now the count runs full. Should Burchard reach, we would see that 10th man in the Milford lineup, Eli Sylvia. Here's the payoff pitch, and it's outside for ball 4. So that's the first walk surrendered for D'Angelo since coming into the game. The 4th walk for Northborough pitching.
Eli Sylvia.
So here is Sylvia, who lined out to center field his first time up. Again, Milford using a 10-man lineup, which is the second time we have seen that in the 2 games that we've covered for Post 59. Sylvia takes the pitch down low to start off 1-0. Eli Sylvia made a highlight reel catch playing second base in the game that we covered against Tri-Town a little over a week ago, which helped secure a combined no-hitter for the Milford pitching staff. Seven Cornelius, Sean Anderson, Tyler Calden, Sean McGee, and Scott Paliuca teaming up for that combined 15-0 no-hit bid against Tri-Town. 2-ball, 1-strike count on Sylvia. It's a tremendous catch to end that game for Eli, diving almost behind the first base bag, full out to rob a hit in Tri-Town's final at bat. 2-ball, 2-strike count now to Sylvia. Burchard aboard at first. Here's the pitch. And it's off the outside part of the plate, and another full count.
3-2-2. Hold your grounds. Got to come across. 3-1.
Pro coaching staff shifting around the defensive alignment now on the full count. The first baseman now plays behind the runner at first. That runner goes as the pitch is chopped towards the pitcher's mound. D'Angelo able to field it and fire to first. Nice stretch over at first base for Nolan Whelan to complete the 1-3 putout That brings an end to the bottom of the fourth inning. Milford leaves a runner stranded. They have left 6 through the first 4, but they lead this game 2-0. On to the 5th we go next here on this coverage of Milford Legion Baseball on Milford TV.
The 5th inning, number 22, Joe Hayes.
Come on, Joe. Come on, Cole.
A new inning and a new pitcher here for Milford Post 59 as Colin Burchard takes over on the mound after a scoreless inning of relief for Andrew Dennison. So Burchard facing batters 8, 9, and 1 in the Northborough lineup. This ball a high chopper that comes down into the glove of the pitcher. Burchard firing over to first to record the out on Joe Hayes.
Let's go, Ryan.
Coming to the plate, number 21, Ryan Holman.
Brings up the number 9 hitter, Ryan Holman.
Big swing here, 2-1.
Colin Burchard has been in the starting rotation for Post 59 through the early weeks of the season. He's made 2 starts. In total has thrown 11 2/3 innings. Comes into this game with a .6 ERA, a 2-0 record. Through those 11 2/3 innings pitched, he has allowed just 2 runs, 1 of them earned, on 8 hits. He's only walked 3 and struck out 12, so he has been very good so far on the season. Colin Burchard, recent graduate of Nipmuc Regional High School, has 1 out in this 5th inning, and now a 1-ball, 2-strike count to the number 9 hitter Holman. Takes that pitch on the inside corner for strike 3. Nasty there on the inner edge from Burchard. Grabs a strikeout. That's the 4th K for Milford pitching.
That brings up number 1, Joe Russell.
Takes us back to the top spot in the Northborough order once again. Joe Russell, 1 for 2 so far this evening, a single that came back in the third inning. He's also lined out to the shortstop. Tries to get out of the way of that pitch, but the bat head went through the zone, and that looked to be the right call. As he tried to jackknife out of the way of that pitch, the bat did go around. 0-1 pitch, that is inside. First two retired quickly here by Burchard. Russell bailing on that pitch, but it hits for a called strike 2. Burchard right back on the pitching rubber, ready to go with his 1-2 pitch. Here it comes. It's popped up foul and out of play, off into the trees behind the third base dugout. Russell will have a chance to see another pitch. It's been just a very light breeze here at Pheno, not even enough to move the American flag out in left center, so just enough to cool the fans down, not enough to interfere with any of these balls put in play. Here's another 1-2 pitch, that's in the dirt. Back into the windup, a 2-2 pitch now, and that is high for ball 3. So Russell making Burchard work a little bit here. Now 11 pitches deep into this relief appearance. McDonald looking for some energy out of the Northborough dugout. Here's a 3-2 pitch now, and it is waved at and missed. Russell goes chasing after a pitch that looked to be out of the strike zone. 2 Ks in the inning for Colin Burchard. Another scoreless inning put up by this Milford pitching staff, which will send us right on to the home half of inning number 5. Still Milford 2, Northborough 0 here on Milford TV. Top of the Milford order due up here in the bottom of the 5th. Koch takes ball one from Andrew D'Angelo, out for his second inning of relief. Pitched around a 2-out walk last inning after taking over for the starter, Andrew Holman. Beg your pardon, Ryan Holman. Ryan Holman now occupying third base. One ball, one strike pitch here for Koch is slapped on the ground towards first base. Drifted a little bit on Nolan Whelan, but he was able to stay with it. Takes it to the first base bag for the first out of the bottom of the fifth. I want to give a quick shout out to all of our viewers tuned in to this Milford Legion baseball coverage tonight. We are live streaming on our YouTube page at youtube.com/mymilfordtv, and we're also live on both our Milford TV educational channel and our high definition channel for Verizon customers. So wherever you might be tuned into our coverage tonight, we're so happy to have you with us, giving you the chance to take in the sights and sounds of Milford Legion baseball here for select home games throughout this 2023 regular season. Next home game for Post 59 is coming up this Thursday.
Get down here.
To see if we can get a crew together for coverage of that game, so stay close to our social media. See if we can bring you that one live later on this week. It's been a lot of work out of the zone for Post 59 this season, getting involved in a lot of tournaments through this regular season, playing up at Holy Cross this past weekend. They were supposed to play in a non-conference game down on Cape Cod a couple of weekends ago. That one was rained out. They have rescheduled that for later on in the summer on July 8th. As meanwhile, Sean McGee works his third walk of the game. He has walked all 3 times he has come to the plate. Last time he walked, he came around to score the first run of the game, so he is aboard here with 1 down in the 5th. Ahead of Keith Lee, who has been hot tonight. He is 2 for 2 with a pair of singles, an RBI, and a run scored. They will check. Over at first base on McGee, he dives back in safely. He did steal second base the last time he was aboard. He takes the first pitch in for strike 1. Milford will be involved in another tournament coming up at the end of this month into the beginning of July, taking place in Beverly, where Milford will face some teams from Massachusetts, but also they'll face Legion competition from Maryland and Colorado as well. So a lot of teams from around the country involved in that tournament. Coach DeVito giving this team an opportunity to face a lot of different types of competition on this 2023 season. The way this team has played through the first portion of the year. Good to see this team challenged, as they look to have a club here that has a very high ceiling, both offensively, defensively, on the pitcher's mound as well. A very well-rounded team. As Keith Lee gets into this pitch, drives it deep out to left field. That is over the head of Bellafato and all the way to the fence. They will wave the runner around from first base. McGee will score as Keith Lee winds up at second base with a ringing RBI double that gives Milford now a 3-0 lead. As a matter of fact, that was Tyler Calden running for Sean McGee. He comes around from first base to score, but Lee stays red hot at the plate. Drives that pitch well over the left fielder's head, all the way to the chain link for an RBI double. his second RBI of the game. Nobody hotter in the Milford lineup right now than Keith Lee. As Cornelius ducks back out of the way of that pitch for ball one. So that's 9 hits on the season for Lee. His second double. He now has 10 runs batted in, which puts him now in sole possession of first place in that category on the team. All that to go along with those 14 walks. He has been an on-base machine. Here comes a 1-1 pitch into Cornelius. That misses. So Lee came into the game with an on-base percentage of .781. That will continue to rise as he has been on base all 3 times he's come to the plate today. OPS of 1365 as Cornelius grounds one to third base. Ullman keeps that runner at second base before firing on to first to retire Cornelius for the second out of the inning. Cornelius now 1 for 3 tonight. And we'll see an at-bat now for Colin Burchard, taking over in the number 5 spot in the lineup, previously occupied by tonight's starting pitcher Scott Paliuka. Takes a pitch in the dirt that again gets away from the catcher Emilio Mans to allow a runner to advance. Lee now at third, and a 1-ball, no-strike count on Burchard. Paliuka had been 1 for 2 with a single. Limited offensive action for Colin Burchard so far this season. This is just his 5th at bat. He's looking for his first hit of the season. But right now in the driver's seat, up 3 balls and no strikes. He has walked once. Trio pitch, Burchard goes after it, fouls it at the plate.
Hey, Andrew, we go. Hey, not the baseball here. Play.
Looks like we'll see a pinch hitter if the inning continues for Jacob Smith, as right now Lewis Consigli has a bat in the on-deck circle, and he will come to the plate as Colin Burchard walks.
Now batting number 5, Lewis Consigli.
Runners at the corners now for post 59 for the pinch hitter Lewis Consigli. I'll try to keep the runner close over at first. Consigli takes the first pitch in the dirt for ball 1. Consigli batting .292 on the season. He has 7 hits in 24 at-bats. One of those for extra bases, a triple. He's driven in 6 runs. He's walked 4 times, struck out 5. Pinch hitting in this number 6 spot, previously occupied by Jacob Smith, who went 0 for 2 with a pair of groundouts. Here's the 2-0 pitch on the outside corner for a strike. Last bits of daylight fading in the distance as we're 2 outs deep here in the bottom of the 5th. Pitch into Consigli is wide of the catcher's mitt. Here comes Lee charging in from third base. He will score. And the second wild pitch of the inning for Andrew D'Angelo allows Milford to jump on top now 4-0.
Compete for us, Andrew.
So now the lone runner is Colin Burchard at second base. Big cut from Consigli, but he does not make contact. It's a 3-ball, 2-strike count on Consigli. And now that pitch misses for ball 4, the third walk of the inning. As Coach McDonald calls timeout. And that will be all for Andrew D'Angelo. Runs into some control issues here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Looks like he will remain in the game, and we'll see a shift of defensive positions. We'll let you know the new pitcher on for Post 234 when we come back next here on Milford TV.
Nick, all stretch. Center field, 1 knee. Yeah, guys, get up. Get up.
Number 14, Nick Bellafato, son of the mound.
Nick, from the stretch, buddy. The runner's on. Runner's on. That's what I was saying. Small stretch. No, I'm in full agreement.
On your way home tonight, please be sure to tune into 101.3 My FM for the post-game show and the player of the game with John and Joe. Now batting number 2, Jack Krause.
Come on, baby. Come on, Nick. Hey, Crows. All good, Nick. All good. Come on, Jack. 1, 2, 3. That's how we want.
The new pitcher on for Northborough is Nick Bellafato. So he comes in from left field to take over on the mound. Andrew D'Angelo still in the game now, patrolling, I believe, left field, as again we see a swap of positions. And meanwhile, it's a quick 2-ball, no-strike count on Jack Krause. He's been on base once on the night, courtesy of a walk. He swings away here and grounds the ball foul wide of third base.
Hey, want the baseball, right? Stay engaged. Have each other's back. Let's go. Shooting 4 and a hit. 4 and a hit. Let's go.
Milford with runners at first and second base. It is Colin Burchard at second with Louis Consigli at first. Who had the walk that drove D'Angelo off the mound as this ball is sent out into left field, down for a base hit. Burchard screaming around third base. He will score as the ball comes trickling back into the infield. An RBI single for Jack Krause. Makes it a 5-0 lead now for Milford. Post 59 having some success here against the Northborough bullpen. Down at bat for TJ Kiley. He swings at the first pitch, hits one towards second base. It's grabbed there by Meal. He throws to first base to get the out that retires the side, but Milford brings home 3 more runs. And as we head on to the 6th inning, it is now a 5-0 lead for Post 59 on this coverage of Milford Legion Baseball here on Milford TV.
Sean McGee. And leading off for Northborough, the top of the 6th inning, number 10, Michael Morrissey.
Come on, Mike. Each kid, each. Oh, yeah! Be ready, buddy. Hey, guys, come on, Mike. 6th inning, right? Up, talking it up, support your team. Let's go, Mike. Come on, Mike. Let's go, Mike. Go, 10. What do you say, babe?
Milford with their 4th pitcher of the evening now on the hill. It is Sean McGee. He ranges in from shortstop to pitch this top half of the 6th inning, facing Michael Morrissey, followed by Zach Meal and Emilio Mans here in the 6th inning. Some corresponding defensive changes for Post 59. Get to those as this ball is hit slowly to shortstop. Tricky hop for Kiley, but he stays with it. Fires a good strong throw to first base to retire Morrissey on the 4-3 ground out. So with Sean McGee vacating the shortstop spot, Eli Sylvia comes in from right field to take over at short. Meanwhile, Lewis Consigli, who pinch hit last inning, now in the game in left field. Colin Burchard stays in the game after pitching last inning. He is now in right. So I believe are all of the changes for Post 59.
Hit it hard. Say 8. Come on, kid. Hit it hard.
1-ball, 2-strike count now.
Come on, Billy. Okay, kid. Right center gap.
He'll send one hard and foul down the third base side, just missing his head coach, Ken McDonald, in the third base coach's box. Still an 0-2 count. Next pitch from McGee. It's sent in the air out into right field towards the line, and Burchard able to make the catch. Colin Burchard out in right field for out number 2.
Hey, come on, Mo, a little too high magic. Hey, Moses. Got a bounce, kid. Here we go.
That brings up number 34, Emilio Mears.
2 up and 2 down, and leaves it up to the cleanup hitter, Emilio Mans. 0 for 1 in the game, did work a walk his last time up. Now swings at the first pitch and hits it deep out to left field, back towards the fence. And that is just off the fence. Stays in the yard by maybe a foot.
Hit the tree. This branch is on the ground. This branch is on the ground.
And right now, the coach is screaming out of the third base dugout that skimmed the trees on the way down and that should be a home run. The assistant coach is very hot in the third base dugout. Coach McDonald having a more civilized conversation, and it's going to go Northborough's way, and that ball is a home run. So how about that for Emilio Mans, a feat that we rarely see here at Fino Field, a ball that clears the fence, just barely doing so. That ball was hit very hard out to left field, was knocked down by the branches that overhang the field down the left field line. So that is a home run, a solo shot for the catcher, Emilio Mans. And so that puts the first run across for Northborough. Now Nolan Whelan with a ground ball to second base, fielded by Kiley to end the inning, but a little bit of excitement on the Northborough side as we see one clear the fences here at Fino Field off the bat of Emilio Mans. But it is Milford who still leads now 5-1. On to the home half of the 6th. We go next here on Milford TV. 5 runs, 6 hits, no errors for Milford. 1 run, 4 hits, no errors for Northborough. We are now in the bottom half of the 6th inning. Milford sending up their 9, 10, and 1 hitters in this 6th inning. Sean Burchard leading off the inning. He has reached base once tonight via a walk. Been a quiet night offensively for Northborough, but some excitement in that last half inning, courtesy of the catcher Emilio Mans. Drove a ball out to left field that at first glance looked like it was just barely held out to the nearly 400 feet out to left field, but eventually was ruled a home run. Meanwhile, Sean Burchard sends one over the outstretched glove of the third baseman out into left. All kinds of trouble for Andrew D'Angelo to eventually pick that ball up.
That brings up number 7, Eli Sylvia.
Ends up going as a double for Sean Burchard to lead off this 6th inning. Second double of the game for Post 59. And now first pitch swinging Eli Sylvia sends one in the air out to left field, stays in fair territory, and hangs up this time for the left fielder to make the catch.
That brings up number 9, Nick Koch.
It is Nick Bellafato back out in left field. To stay on our toes, as we've had some frequent defensive alignment changes in this one. So Bellafato back out in left field after pitching a third of an inning of relief to finish off the 5th inning. Runner at second base, 1 down. Go back up to the top spot in the batting order, and Nick Koch. He is 0 for 3 so far in this one, a fly out and a pair of ground outs. But here drives one through the right side of the infield for a base hit. Burchard waving around from third base. Here comes the throw into the plate, and it is there and waiting for Burchard, who comes tumbling in towards the plate in an awkward head-first slide. Looked to be a little bit of hesitation around the third base bag. He got the go-ahead from Coach DeVito, but a good throw in from right. Cuts down a runner at the plate, so Burchard out. Nick Koch now the lone base runner at first. Sean McGee at the plate now with 2 outs. Runner takes off for second base, and meanwhile the ball trickles out into center field. And McGee will continue on to third. Zach Meal didn't realize apparently that he didn't have that ball in his glove, and then it just continued to roll out into shallow center field. And so McGee ends up going on to third. That should go as an error, or first of the game. Stolen base and then an error on the second baseman to allow Koch to advance on to third, as now this pitch is popped up off McGee's bat over towards the on-deck area in front of the third base dugout, and a lunging grab for Emilio Mans, who has contributed some highlight reel plays in the later innings of this game. Able to lunge for that ball just in front of the dugout for the out that concludes things here in the bottom of the 6th inning. So Milford has a run cut down at the plate. They will carry a 5-1 lead into the top of the 7th inning, looking to finish off their 10th victory of the year. We'll see if they can finish it next here on Milford TV. In the big leagues, they call this a bullpen day, and it's been a successful one so far for Post 59. 3 scoreless innings to start from Scott Paliuka, and then quality innings of relief from Andrew Dennison, Colin Burchard, and Sean McGee. The only blemish there, the home run McGee allowed to Emilio Mann's last inning. Now Tyler Wilkie looks to finish things off for Post 59. A tall right-hander greeted with a loud foul ball off the bat of Nick Bellafato for strike 1. Now sends a fly ball out to center field, but Koch looks to have it sized up. He's there to make the catch for out number 1. So we'll see the first at bat of the game now for Anthony D'Angelo. So he takes over in the number 7 spot in the lineup from Andrew D'Angelo, who had gone 0 for 2. Here's a 1-0 pitch. Swung on and missed. Good fastball from Wilkie. One pitch now, that is up and in. And we continue to be impressed by the depth that this Milford pitching staff has shown through just 2 games that we've covered on the year. We have seen nothing but high quality arms out of this Milford bullpen. All 5 pitchers utilized tonight. Good stuff, good command. It's the same thing a couple of nights ago as well. We saw 5 arms in that game as well. Here Wilkie gets the strikeout.
That brings up number 22, Joe Hayes.
It's just the 6th strikeout for Milford pitching tonight. They've been getting it done pitching to contact with very good success. 1 out away from another victory. As that pitch comes up high on Joe Hayes, who is 0 for 2 so far tonight. Now a 2-ball, no strike count. Milford will be back in action on Wednesday on the road, taking on Cherry Valley before returning home on Thursday for a matchup against North County. That pitch comes in and clips Hayes on the leg, and so not over just yet. Hayes down to first base, and we'll give Ryan Holman another chance to come to the plate. Wilkie misses inside. Wilkie dropping down to the side on that pitch. Now fires in a strike. So bringing the count to 1-1. Coming into this game tonight off of their first loss of the season, looking to quickly get back in the win column. One ball and 1 strike, the count to Ryan Holman. He did reach on an infield single back in the 3rd inning. He's 1 for 2 in the game tonight. Big cut on that pitch, but does not make contact, and Northborough now down to their final strike. Wilkie to the set. Here is the 2-2 pitch, and it's swung on and missed for strike 3. Blows a fastball past Holman. 2 Ks in the inning for Tyler Wilkie, and that finishes off a 5-1 victory here tonight for Milford Post 59 over Northborough. Good pitching on both sides here tonight, but Milford able to grab 2 runs in the 3rd, 3 more in the 5th. And ultimately, they secure their 10th victory of the season. So with the win, Milford improves to 10-1 now on the year. With the loss for Northborough, they fall to 7-3, but 2 very good teams on display here tonight, leading their respective divisions here in Zone 4. So again, that wraps things up here for tonight for Post 59. They'll be in action on Wednesday at Cherry Valley and then home against North County on Thursday. We'll let you know when our next live coverage will be here on Milford TV, so stay close to our social media accounts as we will announce our next coverage very soon. But that's going to wrap things up here tonight. A big thank you to our Milford TV crew on hand for the coverage. Our director tonight is Scott Crisafulli, and our camera operator is Patrick Garapi. And I am Tim Coet. That final score one final time. Milford defeats Northborough by a final score of 5-1. This has been a presentation of Milford Legion Baseball here on Milford TV. So long, everybody.